Start the stream?
Yep.
Yep. Pat, you are live.
Welcome everybody to another new dive site today. So, today I am diving live with you all at a spot called Wildlife, which is still on the western side of Grand Cayman Island, but more towards the northern end. So, I am Patrick, and I will be your underwater biologist today. On camera, we have the South African Rian, and on the surface, your biologist is Lauren from Scotland. So, today I'm not really going to be looking for anything specifically. This is a new site, so I'm just going to explore it a bit and maybe try and find some macro things, so some smaller stuff hiding away. But to start with, we do have a little balloon fish right here. They are one of our favourites here. We haven't really been seeing them, we weren't seeing them to start with, but in the last weeks we have seen them quite a bit. They are cute little fellas, and they are a puffer fish, well, they are related to the puffer fish. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please send them in. If you are on Twitter, use that hashtag diveLIVE. So Lauren, do you want to say hello to everyone?
Hi everyone, and thank you for joining us on the second dive of today. I have a great feeling about this one, and we have a cutie patootie balloon fish right in front of us, which is a porcupine fish.
Yes, and they are cute but very deadly as well. So one defense mechanism they have is these spines that hopefully you can all see there. So if they are feeling under threat, they will draw in water and blow themselves up just like a balloon, and when this happens the spines become erect, and so you can imagine it's just like a ball covered in spines that would obviously puncture and hurt. Now on top of this, they also have a toxin called a tetrodotoxin, which is thousands of times more powerful than cyanide, so it's very toxic. Now it's not actually produced by the organism itself, it's produced by symbiotic bacteria that live within the tissues and organs of the animal. So if this algae wasn't to be inside of the fish at all, it wouldn't actually be toxic.
So Pat, we just had a really close-up view of its tiny little mouth, and it either has something inside of its mouth or it's like a baby tooth that is growing. It's really strange. Let's get a better look of inside this little guy's mouth.
Yeah, I can't actually see them.
What size is it? Do you know if it's a juvenile or not?
It's about maybe 15 to 20 centimeters, so just over 10, just under 10 inches, sorry. And I don't think it's a juvenile. This is about a similar size as the ones that we usually have been seeing.
Well, the maximum size for this fish is 20 inches, but it's normally around 14 inches. But it just has this very strange little mouth. Oh, it's like a little tooth that's sticking out. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but it's very cute.
Yeah, no, unfortunately I can't. Rian's in the best spot right now, but yeah, that's very curious. I wonder what it is.
So everyone's commenting that they're cute, too cute to be deadly, and yes, indeed, I agree with that. They have very unique, opaque eyes. You can almost see the whole universe in their eyes, and that is another key identification feature.
Yeah, it's almost like some precious stone sitting there inside of its eyes. I don't know if this is romantic or not, but I do like looking deeply into their eyes.
Oh, how romantic of you, Pat. We'll need to look back on this and have a look at that tooth. It's very strange. It doesn't look like the normal sort of fused teeth that these fish do have.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, all porcupine fish, they don't eat other fish. They don't feed on other fish. They do crunch hard-shelled animals such as crustaceans and mollusks. So they have really, really sort of sharp and strong fused incisors. And this one doesn't appear to have that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's some sort of genetic mutation, possibly.
No, I think it's damage. I see there's a little bit of damage somehow. I'm just looking up the identification guide just now. It's letting us get very close, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really not fazed by a presence at all. So it was the first thing I spotted when we got down here before the broadcast, and it hasn't really moved from where it started. We can see this little sharp-nosed pufferfish there. Didn't like it being around it, told it to go away.
Yeah, so this sort of tooth thing that we're seeing definitely isn't the norm, so we'll need to look into that. And one of the most amazing things about these guys is they can actually erect their spines without inflating. Not all porcupine fish can do that. They have to sort of inflate themselves like a balloon to get those spines to go erect. But this guy can.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I didn't actually know that. That would be interesting to see.
And it's actually the pupils that are iridescent. The actual iris of the animal is yellow, and the pupils has this sort of bluey-green iridescent spots, which give them this whole galaxy effect.
Yes, it's so I think all of the most beautiful things in life are naturally created, just like the eyes of this fish.
So we have Clifford asking for some sharks today.
Yeah, alright. Hopefully we do get a nurse shark come in. So we are quite shallow, to be exact. We are at 8.6 meters, or just over 20 feet. So we are pretty shallow at the moment, but that is where nurse sharks do tend to hang out here in Grand Cayman. We could find them sometimes as shallow as 3 meters or 10 feet.
Spas is asking about how many pufferfish we have here. So we do have around 12 different pufferfish in the Grand Cayman area, or the Caribbean region, sorry, should I say. But porcupine fish are slightly different from your classic pufferfish. They're just grouped together in that one family, and the main difference is the structure of their teeth. So porcupine fish are very specialized, and they're deodontides, which means they have just 2 teeth. So it's a fused row on the top and a fused row on the bottom.
So we are going to head out a little bit deeper now. There is a lot of isolated bommies here through a big sand patch, so this is actually good territory if we want to find a nurse shark. We have a school of barjacks. They are really on a mission. Can you see this? They are, wow, I'm not sure what they're feeding on, but they're really...
Oh, yeah.
See, wow.
What are they doing?
They are just going nuts at the moment.
It's quite unusual, isn't it, Pat?
Yeah. So I did see them quite in the distance, and they were moving very quickly. But they've just been kind of finding a spot and then all hammering it and then going away. And so I don't know, maybe they're on a bit of a feeding frenzy. Wow. I wonder what they could be feeding on as well. I know that they mostly are predatory fish, or sometimes scavengers, so we'll eat mollusks and crustaceans, but yeah, I really don't know what they would be feeding on.
How interesting.
Yeah.
We do actually have a question from Kathy regarding the sort of balloon fish, asking how long does it take them to deflate?
Oh, I'm not sure, but we have a turtle up here. Perhaps I'm pretty sure you know that one, Lauren.
Yes, I do. So it takes them a long time, many hours to actually deflate. It's really difficult for them to get rid of the water that they have pumped into their stomachs in order to inflate. And actually, it takes them 5.6 hours for their metabolism to run back to normal. So it takes a really long time, and this is where they're at their most vulnerable. So a sort of tired fish is a very easy target for predators, and they're very, very tired after it. So a lot of people think that the inflation harms them. That's not necessarily the case, but it's when they deflate. It's just very energetically exhausting for them.
Now, Lauren, can you please see whoever is cable bashing and see if they can get the cable round stuck right now? So we do want to go look at this turtle, but we just can't move at the moment.
Yeah, Emil is just checking on board, so bear with us. So we're excited about the turtle. Do you still have eyes on it?
I do indeed. Now, what one it is, I'm not actually sure. There's quite a large, two large white patches towards the base of its carapace, so it might be double patch, but I'm not sure.
Can you just let us know if you're moving freely now, Pat? Is everything okay?
Yep, Rianne's right next to me, so we're off to go see this turtle.
Yay, cannot wait.
So it has been a turtley day. Lauren had 3 hawksbills on her dive earlier, and we've been seeing lots at the surface as well.
Still not got my loggerhead, but
yeah.
I'm waiting patiently. So Pat, while you're swimming over, do you care to share with everyone what we found during our surface?
Yes, we found a seahorse. It was amazing. So Rian was coming up to the boat, and just before he came up, he spotted a seahorse floating in the water, and we all got down and got to have a little look and a little swim with it. So it was really great. It was an awesome sighting.
Yeah, it was. I don't even know how to put it into words, actually. Oh, hello there, turtle. But the seahorse was incredible. It did swim away, or we would have tried to show you all somehow.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was also the first time I've ever seen a seahorse, so it was a magnificent sighting. Just like this turtle here.
So it's definitely a female hawksbill, I think, is it? Or is it a juvenile? Can you judge, Pat?
Yeah, its carapace looks about 70 centimetres long, so I would say it is an adult female. So that is about 2 feet, just above 2 feet.
I'm just checking our database, just in case. I don't believe we do have it. But all the reefs here are sort of joined, if you like, around the Grand Cayman on the west to east side. It's one long, huge reef. So it could be one that we have seen before.
Yes, hopefully. And how we are going to identify this one, or try to identify at least, whether or not we know it or not, that's another question. But we look on the side of the face at the scales, or scutes as they are also referred to as, and that gives a unique pattern, a unique ID, just like what we use our fingerprints for, so no two are the same. So to initially put the turtle into the database, we need to get both the left and the right hand side of the scales, but after that, all we need to then identify it from the database is just one side that matches.
Alright, I believe we have seen this one before. Is it possible, Rian, just to get another look at the left side just before I end up making a confirmation? It could be Sandy.
Oh, wow. An old friend.
Yes, it very much looks like Sandy. I will need to go home and analyse this properly, but it's one of the fifth individual hawksbill that we have actually seen here, and it looks very much like her.
awesome. Well, I wonder what she's doing down here.
Yeah, I know, we are quite far from Casuarina Point, so that just shows you that these hawksbills do travel a little bit. Wow, what a great find, Pat.
Yeah, this is awesome. I honestly didn't expect to see a turtle here as well. So I'm very happy with this sighting. And if anyone does have any turtle questions, please do send them in. If you are on Twitter using that hashtag diveLIVE.
Yeah, we are becoming fast experts on these reptiles of the reef.
Yeah, they are awesome. And being reptiles, it means that they're not really... Well, they are obviously very adapted to the sea, but they are... Well, a lot of reptiles are from the land. So they have to hold their breath. They can't actually breathe underwater. So they are some of the world's best free divers, if you want to think of it that way.
Yeah, we do have some comments, and it does look like Hank actually possibly ID'd it first. He knew that we had definitely seen this individual before, so good job.
Oh, well done.
Yes, and it is Sandy. We named this one Sandy, and I think this is only the second sighting of her. So we must have sort of met her at Casuarina Point, and she's moved on from that area and got different foraging grounds. And it wouldn't surprise me if that was because of mean shark bait chasing her away.
Yes, the other day we had a turtle encounter with both Gretchen and Sharkbait, and Sharkbait actually kept Gretchen on the shell to keep her away from her sponge. Then the very next day we saw both the turtles at the exact same sponge, but Gretchen would not go near the sponge, so I think she kind of got the idea.
Yeah, I think Sharkbait is boss for sure.
Yeah.
We do have a question. Let me just get there. What is the sort of white spots on the shell patch?
Well,
This is from Betty.
that's, I think, just a, not a defect, but a natural kind of occurrence, is it? Or is it algae?
I think it's sort of algae, or it can be damage, but mostly the white patches are from algae, and it can be used as an identification feature. You're right, Betty.
Yes, especially with one of our favourite little turtles, Patch. It's obviously named so because of the white patch near the base. But I have noticed with the hawksbills around here, a lot of them do tend to have this white patch generally at the rear of their carapace.
Yeah, it's really common for hawksbills to have pretty dirty carapace. They don't really clean them well, so there's normally sort of all sorts of things growing on them. So Pat, we have some questions.
Great.
Take Care wants to know, where do turtles sleep?
Well, they don't sleep like we do, but they do go down and rest, and they will tend to do this underwater because on the surface they do get a bit nervous and don't really like to be there. They actually prefer to be underwater, so they will take their sleepy, resty thingy underwater, and there's actually some very cute photos of them doing this in sponges. In barrel sponges.
Yes, and they normally sort of scent their little sleeping area with urine, so they can be found in the same sleeping spot night after night. But obviously if they do sense danger in that area or something happens, they obviously will relocate. So we have a question, a really, really interesting one. And Gerard is asking how many turtles are in the database so far.
Ooh, do we have...
This little individual is going to be our 14th hawksbill.
14, wow, we've done pretty well.
So that actually answers Dory's question as well. Yes, the turtles from this morning, 3 of them were new individuals, which took us up to 13. And this little chica is number 4. Whoa, no, it's Sandy, so it's 13.
Yeah, 13.
Sorry about that, blonde moment.
That's alright, and we do have 1 green turtle, don't we?
2.
2 green turtles, yeah. So it is growing.
Yeah, we're working very, very hard on it. And we do have a question about the population of the whole Grand Cayman.
Sorry.
I'm just looking for it. We don't actually have a population for the whole of Grand Cayman. That is what we're actually trying to achieve. This question's from Paula, by doing this sort of non-invasive photo technique study. So just by simply taking a photo or a video of the scales of the face, we are trying to build up a bit of a database that will be used for the whole of Grand Cayman to have access to and start to identify individuals. So Stas, that answers your question. That is how we know the difference between Gretchen, Sharkbait and Sandy from the scales at the side of the face. Kathy wants to know, Pat, how do turtles defend themselves?
Well, they have this big shell that tends to be their primary form of defense. So they are very hard, these shells, and will protect them against most things. Not all things, but that is their primary mechanism of defense. Now, we did see, as I spoke about the other day, that sharkbait nipped Gretchen, but this isn't really a proper defense mechanism. That was more just to... Whoa! She's peeking upside down.
That was very cute indeed.
That was hilarious. It's like a barrel roll.
So we have got some questions. Everybody's loving this sighting, Pat.
Good.
Well, Lara's asking, do sea turtles breathe underwater or air? Breathe water or air, sorry.
They breathe air, so they are reptiles and therefore have to use their lungs to breathe. So they can't actually breathe underwater. So they can switch to anaerobic respiration underwater, but that still doesn't mean that they're using water.
Okay, and Lara Moore would like to know, do turtles ever get barnacles?
Yes, they do. So I actually saw a loggerhead turtle quite some time ago here, and it had a big old barnacle on its shell. So they do get cleaned, turtles, just like a lot of other marine creatures. They do quite often get cleaned on their shells, but they do harbour some encrusting organisms, just like barnacles.
And Ellen would like to know, what do turtles feed on?
Sponges. So, as we saw just then, this hawksbill was feeding on a sponge, and that is primarily what they will eat. That's the main component of a hawksbill's diet. It does differ between species though. For example, the big leatherback turtle's favourite food is jellyfish, and green turtles are herbivorous and so will eat algae.
So a big shout out to Elise, who is watching. She was one of our awesome female divers yesterday who made the day complete. So hi there.
Hello.
And a big shout out to Alau, who is watching all the way from Malaysia. We're glad to have you here.
It's great to see our friends supporting us. So it looks like Sandy is going up to the surface to take a few breaths and look around. But what she has attracted is quite a few angelfish. So we can see at the sponge it was feeding on, there's a French angelfish, and we also have 2 queen angelfish here. Well, 3, 4, if you're counting the ones off in the distance. And this is because the turtle kind of breaks up the sponge for the angelfish, so they can come along and get themselves a nice little feed as well, without having to work as hard by breaking down the sponge themselves.
Yeah, Love Dogs actually noticed the angelfish a while back, and thank you so much for your fish list. I got it, and I'm going to work on comparing them both, and I'll get back to you. I'd love to have another passionate person about fish joining me.
Yeah, Love Dogs, that list was amazing. I was looking through that earlier, and you've put quite a lot of effort into it, so thank you so much for that.
Well, Margie has commented that Sandy has a little love heart on her back, and that is such a good point. Maybe we should think about changing her name.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. She has actually just dived back down, so let's go over and have a better look at this little marking.
Yeah, and Margie's also asking, do they travel by themselves?
Yes. Yes, so turtles are solitary animals, meaning that they really will not interact with one another unless for either mating or every now and again, just like we saw the other day, if they have a little dispute. But even so, these are fleeting moments and don't tend to really last. So they are lone wolves, so to speak.
Yes, they are. And we do have some people asking questions about the names of the 3 turtles that we saw earlier. So at the moment, they're nameless. So you're welcome to send in some suggestions and we can let you know tomorrow.
Yes, definitely. We do love it when our diveLIVE family helps us with the names. So please send in any suggestions you may have.
Betty would like to know, do turtles use the Grand Cayman for laying eggs?
Yes, they do. So there are a few sites on Grand Cayman where turtles will nest. So I believe the hawksbill, the leatherbacks, and is it the greens also nest here?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah. And was it Grand Cayman that the hybrid nest was found, or the potential hybrid nest was found?
It was Grand Cayman. I haven't heard anything back on that. I will follow up, of course, but they're waiting on genetic analysis to discover whether it is a hybrid between a loggerhead and a hawksbill, and they believe that it is, which is the first time I have ever heard of anything like this.
Yeah, it's super fascinating, so we will definitely keep our ears out for more information on that.
And we did have a question on how many eggs do the hawksbills lay?
For hawksbills, I'm not actually sure. I know a lot of turtles, their clutches tend to be around 100 plus, but whether this applies to hawksbills, I'm pretty sure it would, but perhaps you could shed more light on that, Lauren.
Yeah, for hawksbills, it's on average 130, but it does depend on the size of the female in relation to her age. So I did learn recently that her clutch size, which is the size of the sort of nest of eggs that she lays, will be bigger if the female is much larger. But on average for hawksbills, it's 130. And Hank also noticed that Loveheart, so Sandy's name has officially been changed to Loveheart.
That's cute. Yeah, I like that.
So we did have a question from Spas asking about what exactly is anaerobic respiration. Are you able to shed more light on that, Pat?
Yeah, so there's 2 types of respiration. Two main types, which are aerobic and anaerobic. So aerobic is the use of oxygen to break down into, well, not break down, but to produce energy. So this is quite a complex chemical process, but the main thing to remember is that it uses oxygen, whereas anaerobic is without oxygen. So I believe in hawksbills they break down sugars to respirate anaerobically. So that is the main difference between the two.
Yes, so Proud Cat Mama is asking, what is the incubation period for turtles, for the eggs?
I know for Olive Ridley's turtles, it is about 2 months, 2 to 3 months, sometimes 6 weeks. For hawksbills, I'm not sure.
Yes, it generally ranges between the 6 to 8 week mark. So it does depend on the environmental conditions. They often hatch at night time because there's less predators for them there on the beach and the ocean, and they're not so visible. And also the temperatures are lower. So any time between that 6 to 8 week mark, you have to monitor the nest very carefully.
Yes, and one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life is the freshly hatched turtles all making their way down to the beach from the eggs. It is truly just one of those breathtaking moments. They're so little and so cute. It's just, I don't know. Just
they're very clumsy as well, right?
Yes, they do stumble around quite a bit. And yeah, just knowing that the challenges ahead of them to become a mature adult They can see a lot of determination in such little creatures.
Paul, I would like to know, Pat, are turtles naturally buoyant?
No, they are not. So they do have to kind of use their lungs, the air in their lungs, to control buoyancy, and also their flippers, particularly the front two. The rear two flippers are used for rudders, but the front two are used to generate lift.
Yeah, so naturally they're really negatively buoyant. That shell is very, very heavy and creates them to sink, so they use the air in the lungs to float. So yeah. Lara Moore is wondering how long they can stay underwater, Pat, before needing to surface for air.
Well, on average for the hawksbills, it's about 20 minutes per dive, but they can stay down much longer than this. They can stay down several hours if they wanted to. And the one that really fascinates me is the giant leatherback turtles. They are huge, and they can dive as deep as 600 meters. But I think for 6 hours for the hawksbills is the longest they can dive.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just reading a really fascinating question from James, actually. Hi, James. We did think of you when we saw the seahorse. Unfortunately, we weren't able to film it. But is the possibility that there's a sort of hybrid between different species of turtles due to the fact that the turtle populations are in decline?
That is quite an interesting question, and potentially, I mean, if there is less of both species, then perhaps one may have been really desperate for a mate and therefore tried to mate with a different species because there was just nothing else available, and then by some divine miracle the eggs have been fertilized. But I mean, yeah, that could potentially be a factor.
Yeah, I have no idea. It's the first time in all my career with turtles that I've ever heard of this. But they do believe here in Grand Cayman that it happens a lot. This is the first time they're just going to get it genetically tested. So I promise to research this further and share the results with you.
Yeah.
So another great question from Kathy. How far can turtles see, and do they see in colour?
Oh, this one's right out of my field, Lauren. I think you'll have to take it.
Yes, they do see in colour, and they do see incredibly well. So underwater they have perfect vision, far better than we do. And on land they're just slightly short-sighted, just marginally, but they still do have great vision on land because of course the females need to come on land to lay their eggs. So if you imagine us humans, we cannot see underwater at all unless we have a mask or goggles. So turtles are the complete opposite. They can see well in both environments. But great question.
Now, if you were to see a turtle on land coming up to lay eggs on the beach, or, well, that's generally the only time you will see them on land, you will notice that they look like they are crying. And the first time I saw this, I honestly did feel really sad because I thought it must have been in pain, but that is not the case at all. They actually have special ducts near their eyes that they use to excrete salt. So obviously being in the water for a long time, they do need to deal with this salt buildup. And so they'll do this by shedding what looks like tears. So if anyone's heard the phrase crocodile tears, I think they should be called turtle tears because they are fake crying.
I love that thought. Ellen is asking, do turtles compete with others for the same foods? So that's a great question to what we've been seeing recently, Pat.
Yes. So this relates to the example that I've been using this dive of the two turtles, Gretchen and Sharkbait, having a little dispute over a sponge. So that's really your answer right there. So there's generally not much competition between them because sponges aren't really a widely eaten source of food. They're pretty abundant here on the reefs, but they obviously must have favourite ones that they tend to visit a lot. and will defend it if need be.
So another interesting question about turtle reproduction. Oh, let me just see it. After the turtles lay their eggs, are they fertilized by a variety of males? And this is from Proud Cat Mama.
So no, they are fertilized before they lay their eggs. So they will mate on the surface, and then the eggs will be fertilized. After that, they will then come up onto the beach and lay their eggs already fertilized. But what is interesting about this is that they can actually choose, so they can get sperm from different males and actually choose which ones they think have the best genetics and use that sperm.
Yes, they're very promiscuous, and that question was just asked as well. So they will mate with many, many different males, and it is a very aggressive act. Very interesting to watch if you're able to ever get a glimpse of that. The female is under a lot of pressure from a lot of males.
Yes, and unfortunately, sometimes it can be such an overwhelmingly tiring process for the turtle that she will be drowned. So the male has to kind of get on top of her to mate. And obviously, if there's lots of different males all trying to do this at the same time, they can be held down a little bit too long and unfortunately drown her.
So Take Care is asking, why don't turtles just lay the eggs in the ocean?
Well, I guess on land, because when they lay them on land, they do cover them with sand, so they're not laid on the land, they kind of lay it under. So this actually acts as good protection. There are some animals that can sniff them out and dig them up, but they are a lot more protected on land than they would be underwater. And they are land animals as well, reptiles, so it makes sense to lay eggs on land.
And you've got a great dive buddy in Dory here asking for an ear check, huh?
Yes, so I have 70 bar left, so still a little bit of turtle time.
And how deep are you to see this little cutie?
Well, when we first spotted her, I was at about 10 meters or 30 feet, and now I am at 11 meters, so about 35 feet, well, closer to 12 meters, 11.6 meters, so about 35 feet down.
So Margie was asking what they feed on, and I do think we have clarified this, but they're sponge eaters, spongivores if you like. So Loveheart here, who's now been officially renamed, is looking for a juicy sponge.
Yes, right on cue actually. And so the sponge, the makeup of a sponge doesn't really sound appetizing at all. So their skeleton is, well, they're kind of, I use that term loosely, their skeleton is made up of spicules, which are silicon or glass-like structures. And then, on top of that, they also have a lot of chemical deterrents, so nasty chemicals that they produce. Yet, somehow, the hawksbill has still adapted to use this as its food source. And the toxins that are produced by the sponge will build up in the flesh and the meat of the hawksbill.
So just a quick shout out to NSA, Uzi and Owen who are on Paddy. Just hi, thanks for joining us, and we do hope you join us again. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. But we do have a good question here from Noelle. Hi Noelle. She was asking, hold on a second, the questions are coming in fast and furious, Pat.
Good.
Is there a specific mating ritual for turtles?
A specific mating ritual? I don't think there's really much courting that goes on before mating. Have you heard of any kind of actual dances or rituals?
No, not specifically. There's just a mating season when the female will become ready, and she will leave the foraging ground and head out into the open ocean to meet a male. But as for rituals, no, I do not believe. But the mating does happen at the surface, so if you are out on a boat, you can see two females Not two females, sorry, a male and a female at the surface mating. It's very visible. So Spas was asking, what exactly are spicules, Pat?
So spicules are the structures in sponges that give it its skeleton and its form. So they are silicon or glass, silicous, should I say. And yeah, so that is what gives the sponge its structure and skeleton. So they're little, how can I describe it? They're kind of like, not a star structure, but they have lots of little points. And that is kind of, they interlock in a way and make the skeleton of the sponge.
And Kathy was asking, have you ever tasted a sponge?
No, and I don't ever plan to either.
Paula would like to know how old turtles can get.
Well, with the hawksbills, they can live up to 50 years old generally. But more on average, about 25 to 30 years.
There is evidence of other species reaching the 100-year mark, so they are very ancient old reptiles that can get very old. But for hawksbills, yeah, it's average 30 to 50 years. She's very relaxed, isn't she?
Yeah, just kind of cruising the reef, looking for sponges, just having a little nip here and there. And so that is, here in Grand Cayman, the turtles do seem to be very relaxed. So I think they are used to seeing divers around. It is a very popular spot here for divers. And they are treated with respect, which is great to see. So there's a lot of signage and a lot of information around here that just kind of prompts people not to touch or interfere with the turtles in any way. So I think they kind of see us as friends now, which is great.
Hopefully. And they do have a really good memory, so if they are harmed by a human or, feel threatened, they will remember that and be very cautious. So Pat, Craig is asking, how fast do turtles swim?
Ooh, I'm not sure in kilometres or miles per hour. They can move pretty quickly when they want to, but that's only when they're threatened. So we can see that most of the time, anyone that watches us frequently can think to all of our turtle encounters, they do tend to just sit at a cruising pace because they want to obviously conserve their energy when they are diving. So they want to be obviously using as little energy as possible so they can stay down longer. So they do tend to just move very slowly and calmly.
Yeah, they do need to save energy and save oxygen, but on average they can swim at bursts of speed, so it's not sustainable. But if they need to get away, they can move incredibly fast, quite surprisingly so, and it's normally on average around 22 miles per hour, which I think I just converted is around 35 kilometers per hour.
So that's pretty quick. That's actually quite quick. That's as fast as some land sprinters. Well, me anyway, I'm pretty slow.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But they cannot sustain those speeds, so it's only used to sort of get away from danger or any big shark predators that are nearby if they're being chased.
So can you guys see this damselfish here?
Yeah.
It's really not happy with the turtle. It must have its algae patch here somewhere, so damselfish will tend to farm algae by removing something, generally it's coral polyp or something like that, making a bit of a burrow, putting the algae in there and allowing it to grow. So they will protect these farms pretty viciously, and as we can see here, it's really trying to get this turtle to move away.
So Spas was asking, what other reptiles do you see? Do you get sea snakes there?
No, we don't get sea snakes here in Grand Cayman, although I wish we did. That would be an amazing sight. That is on my bucket list of things to see. But no, we don't get any other marine reptiles here. There used to be crocodiles, I believe, and sometimes the odd one make its way across. But no, this turtles are really the only marine reptile we get here.
Yeah, and they're awesome at that. Sea snakes actually did evolve in the Coral Triangle, and they just didn't make it to the Caribbean region or the Atlantic in general. It was closed off, so their kind of access was blocked, and you don't find any sea snakes here, which is really fascinating.
Yeah, enclosed seas, just like the Caribbean, do tend to be pretty distinct in their wildlife and the marine creatures here, because, as Lauren said, it is not completely blocked off, but it does have limited connectivity with the other oceans of the world.
Kathy's asking an awesome question. Do turtles have tongues?
Do they have tongues?
Yes.
Ooh, I've never actually looked inside the turtle's mouth, but I'm sure you would know, Lauren.
Yes, of course they do, but they don't really have teeth. They just have this really strong, sharp beak, which has got sort of an overbite, and it's really pointy, designed for exactly what it's doing right now, munching on the sponge. And I actually was bitten by a hawksbill turtle once. I have a very small scar. As I was trying to rescue it, it had been tied up by the neck using fishing line. Do believe it was someone who was going to come back later to hunt it, and we managed to rescue it, but it did end up biting me in the process. So I can assure you it's very sharp, but they don't have teeth, and they do have a tongue. So many great questions today. Just another air check, Pat.
Yeah, well, I was actually just about to wrap up the dive. So I have hit 50 bar, so it's time to say goodbye to this little turtle. So thank you for joining us today, and thank all of you guys for joining us too. So we will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. Grand Cayman time, and we will be down with Lauren. So thank you everyone, it's been an amazing dive. It's always great to spend time with a turtle, and we will see you tomorrow. Thank you Rian, and thank you Lauren.
Thank you, Pat. And yes, please join us tomorrow, and we will reveal the names of the 3 turtles that we saw earlier today. So thank you again.